Hello, guys, and welcome back to another edition of Baseball Talk with the Oro Brothers. My name is Nicholas Oro, joined here by my brother Tim. And today, last video, we were a bunch of pessimistic assholes and said why your team won't win the World Series. Well, let's talk about how/why your team will win the World Series. We're gonna be finding what kind of redeeming qualities in these teams can help them make a run in October and hoist up the trophy at the end of the year. Now, there are a couple teams that we did not talk about in the last video that all of a sudden have started making a little bit more noise and are up there and closer towards a playoff spot that we have to talk about now. So the Rays, we're going to talk about. The Giants, we're going to talk about. So two more teams, one from each league that we get to start with. And I let you go first in the negative video. I'll go first in this one here. We'll start with the current AL East division leaders, the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, the Blue Jays currently, I believe, are they the number one team in the American League? They are now the number one team in the American League. They're 81-59 on the year, and they are currently 3.5 games up on the Yankees and the Red Sox at the moment. So currently, they are sitting in a pretty good spot, and I feel like this Blue Jays team could be a very tough out come the postseason. And let's start with their rotation. I think is a huge redeeming quality for them, especially when you shorten it down for a best-of-5 series. Bieber, Gausman, and Barrios. Good luck. Also, if they get the number one seed, this is a big thing for me. Good luck beating the best team in baseball at home. 45-24 at Rogers Center this year are the Toronto Blue Jays. That is my big sell for them to win the World Series, is they get home field advantage and dominate at home like they have all year long.
All right, I'm going to go the opposite side of the ball. Their lineup. Their lineup would be a reason why they'll win the World Series, because arguably when they get hot, Vladdy, Bo Bichette, and George Springer are the most deadliest trio in baseball when they're on. And that you can compare them with like Ohtani, Freeman, and Betts. But even though Betts is not having a good year, or even like Lindor, Alonso, Soto, I'm going to put them up there with those trios. And that could be a big reason why the Blue Jays win the World Series, is if those three really help carry in the. Not to mention, they have a very deep lineup in general. But
love that lineup.
Their offense has been dynamic, so that would be my reason.
Yeah, and by the way, I know we're talking about how every team can win the World Series. Right now, if I had to pick a team from the American League to make the World Series, I was high on them heading into the year. Was not this high on them heading into the year, but watch out for the Blue Jays. We'll go from the Blue Jays to the New York Yankees. Tim, I'll let you get started here first. Why do the Yankees win the World Series?
I know it's going to sound crazy. I feel like their bullpen can click in the postseason. Because you've got, I think Devin Williams, if he could figure it out, he could be very dangerous in the postseason. Bednar has been great. Doval has been getting better. This is a Yankee bullpen that, when they've got it, that's a big reason why they could make a run. Also, they have a guy named Aaron Judge who can hit homers at will. So, and you've got a very, when they're on, Rodon and Fried are a very dangerous duo on the top of that rotation. So, I do think that you're going to be able to get a lot of production from those two, and that's a very difficult 1-2 to face off against in the playoffs.
Yeah, for me, I wrote down star power and slugging. And it's pretty simple for me when you have guys like Aaron Judge, like Giancarlo Stanton, like Cody Bellinger, like Trent Grisham, who are home run hitters. Ben Rice in there as well has been an absolute revelation for the Yankees this year. What wins games in the postseason? Putting the ball over the wall. You're not going to string hits together like you can in the regular season because you're playing better teams. So good luck trying to hit 300 in the playoffs, because it's not going to happen. You're going to need to hit home runs when it matters. And I think Aaron Judge can be someone who does that. We know Stanton's someone who can do that because he's done it in the past. Bellinger is somebody who has won a World Series before. Just the one, I think, with the Dodgers. He's stepped up when the moment's brightest as well. So I think the Yankees, they're going to hit enough home runs and they're going to win the World Series by slugging.
Fair.
We'll go next, and I'll let you go first on this one. No, I go first on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I go first on this one. The Boston Red Sox, for me, the pitching staff gets it done. Now, their argument to win the World Series definitely got a lot tougher with potentially missing Roman Anthony. He is going to be, I think, 4 to 6 weeks, which sets him up to hopefully return in the playoffs, but it's a lot to ask for somebody in his rookie year, and probably with no rehab because the minor league seasons will be over by then. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But this Boston Red Sox rotation has been the best in baseball since June. They're the 5th best team ERA in all of baseball this year in the MLB. And when you have a starting 3, very similar to what I made the argument with the Blue Jays, Crochet, Giolito, and Bayo, the way they've been pitching this year, can absolutely win them a series just from pitching alone. And then you have guys like Bregman who have the experience as well. So and have been clutch in those type of situations. For me, the pitching is the one thing I think would lead the Red Sox to a World Series.
I hate to just steal your answer, but that's where I was going. Not to mention, if they have a lead going into the 9th inning, Aroldis Chapman's not living up shit. No. He's been absolutely dynamic. Has he let up a hit yet? Since I feel like he hasn't allowed a hit in like a month and a half.
Yeah, it's been unreal what he's done.
So if they can get to the 9th inning with a lead,
good luck.
You're not hitting against Chapman. And with the way that rotation looks, Crochet's a beast. Bayo has been great. Giolito, I feel like could have a good, although he doesn't really have much playoff experience, I do think he could be pretty solid. That's a dangerous 3 in the playoffs too. So that's how the Red Sox can win. I agree.
37 years old, Aroldis Chapman. You know why he's having a career revolution, or whatever the word is.
Revolution.
Yeah. For this year, you know what the biggest difference he's done this year compared to previous years? He's spotting his fastball. Yeah. He's throwing to an actual spot, not just gearing up and throwing a fastball. That's what Connor Wong has done with him this year. The catcher that he works with is you're throwing a fastball and trying to throw it inside or outside, not just throw your fastball. He's been spotting pitches.
He's still hitting 102.
Yeah. So that's like nobody's told him. It's almost like nobody's told him before. Hey, you can try to aim the fastball in a certain spot over the plate. Like, so that's one thing that I noticed with Chapman as well, that I heard about him as well. Your turn to go first here. The Tampa Bay Rays. We did not talk about them in the last video we did because they just got done sweeping the Mariners and pulling themselves within 2.5 games of the wild card round. How do the Tampa Bay Rays win the World Series now?
I kind of said Yandy Diaz and Junior Caminero kind of carry. Not to mention, freaking love Drew Rasmussen. He's been absolutely amazing this year. He is probably the most underrated pitcher in baseball. I'll say that right now. Rasmussen has been fantastic. It would be him. It would be Yandy Diaz and Junior Caminero, who's just hit his 40th home run as a rookie.
Yep.
Or not a rookie, but like
he's second year. He had his rookie eligibility burn last year.
I was about to say because he's
very shocking with the way the Rays run their organization.
Yeah. But he's been dynamic this year. 40 home runs. So that's how you're going to be able to do it. Those two guys can really swing the bat.
Could you imagine a race between Kurtz Kamenik and Junior Caminero for Rookie of the Year?
I think Junior would have won.
Junior would have walked in, like, won in a landslide. So for me, it's their young studs contribute. Junior Caminero leads the way, and then they also get contributions from Chandler Simpson, Jake Magnin, and Carson Williams as well. One of their top prospects, Carson Williams, they called him up just a couple, I believe for September call-ups or a couple days before that. This Rays team proves to the MLB that they continue to develop talent. They don't have the top-end studs like they usually do, but they are really good at developing talent, and I think they absolutely have them be carried by that young talent. And I think that we see contributions by Caminero, by Simpson, by Magnum, by Williams, and things along those lines. and that can lead the Rays to a World Series, which they've never won before.
I'll add one more thing. If they continue to stay hot and just ride the momentum, that's how they're going to have to be able to do it. They've won 6 in a row, 8 out of their last 10 as we're recording this on the 4th. That's how they've gotten up there.
Also, a little bit of an advantage that I think that the Rays have that not a lot of people are going to mention because we all know what the Rays are going with this year. Having to play postseason baseball in George Steinbrenner Field
could be
in front
advantage.
of a couple thousand people could be kind of comforting for the young studs of the Rays.
That's not to mention that's normally what the Rays got at Tropicana anyway. So
yeah, so it's not like they're selling out more tickets that way. Because I remember their wild card series a couple years ago against the Rangers, and nobody went.
That was pathetic. Anyways, they didn't score. They scored like 1 run in that series anyway. So
yeah, but it is my turn now. My turn now. Detroit Tigers. Scooble.
Pitching.
Detroit Scooble dominates, and they find ways to win non-Scooble starts. They are pretty successful against teams with above 500 records. They're 43-38 this year. That's a positive sign. That I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but the Tigers play in the Central. They still have above 500 record against teams above 500. Like that shows to me that you can step up in the postseason. Also, kind of an underrated offense in Detroit there between Carpenter and between Green and what Baez has done this year and what Torres has done this year and what Torkelson has done this year. They have, I believe I heard on the broadcast in the game against the Mets, they have 11 players that have hit at least 11 home runs this year.
Yep.
So they have depth. Lineup depth could be another good answer here. For me, though, it starts and ends with Scooble.
I'm going to go something a little bit different because I like all the things. AJ Hinch is going to be the reason why they win the World Series. He has managed this team to perfection this year.
He's a great manager.
Like he has
done
an amazing job with the bullpen, with pitching matchups. That's why so many players on this team have at least double-digit home runs. Like 11 or 12 players had it.
Yep.
It's because he knows how to put righties versus
matchups.
Like the matchups. He's really good with that stuff. So here you go. Detroit Tigers win the World Series by AJ Hinch being the perfect manager.
If you had to pick from all the managers in baseball, is AJ Hinch your top pick?
He's definitely yes. I think right now, yes.
I would have to agree with you there, especially what he's done with this Detroit Tigers team and what he's done. I mean, especially what he did last year with that Tigers team. That was just the bullpen chaos and everything along those lines.
Which was a lot of fun to see.
Oh yeah. So I'll let you go first on this next one here. The Kansas City Royals. I know you love this Royals team. What's your thoughts? How did the Royals win their first World Series since 2015?
They happen to get production from the bottom half of their lineup. Like that's going to be the main thing. Is if they win the World Series, it will be because they actually get production, and it's not a bunch of wasted outs down the bottom of the lineup. Past Bobby Witt, past Perez, and past Miguel Garcia. Other than that, you need 2 or 3 other players to step up. Their pitching is going to be fine, although no Reagans. You're going to need big contributions from Seth Lugo. He's going to be your number 1 starter if you make the playoffs.
No Cameron number 2. I don't hate that though.
You're going to need big production from your pitchers, and you're going to need big production from your bottom half of the lineup. That's how you guys win the World Series.
I went the opposite way here, Tim.
I would say if they win the World Series, if they get that.
Yeah. For me, it's the top-heavy lineup does the heavy lifting. They get contributions from Witt, Garcia, Vinny P, Perez, and then Jack Caglione as well. That's how I think they win the World Series. Is their top of the lineup does all the damage, and their pitching does enough to keep them in the game.
That's fair.
So that's for me. It's you see contributions from Witt, from Garcia, who's been awesome this year, from Vinny P, and from Perez as well. This one's a tough one. Cleveland Guardians. I don't think they make the playoffs. They're currently 3 games behind the Mariners. The Mariners struggling right now has opened up the door wide open in the American League for one of these teams to take it. pitching carries for me. They get major contributions from Gavin Williams, from Parker Messick, and from Tanner Bybee, and their offense does just enough in order to win games. Contributions from Jose Ramirez and Kyle Manzardo, big time, and hopefully you find other guys to contribute as well. I was going to say something, but it's too late to call him up now. And so maybe you get some contributions from someone like Travis Bazzana. Who's in AAA right now. Mm-hmm. But no, I was going to say it's too late for him there. But Cleveland, they get carried by their pitching. That's how they win the World Series.
They win the World Series by actually getting production from somebody other than J Ram and Stephen Kwan. Like that's the only way this team does. Their pitching is gonna be fun. That I know we're kind of mentioning your team is going to win the World Series because I'm more going of your team is could win the World Series if we actually see production from the bottom half of your line. And I know I could use that for a bunch of these teams, but Cleveland and Kansas City are the two biggest teams for that one. And I'll make the argument for Texas as well because we're going to talk about them in a little bit. Offense. You need some type of offense.
All right. I'll let you go first with the next one. This one's a pretty simple answer for me, but Houston Astros.
You just continue to play the way the Houston Astros play baseball. They have the experience. They have everything that you need. Jose Altuve will have a big postseason. He comes up clutch. Alvarez is healthy again, so you get a big thing from him. The pitching looks great. The offense looks great. Your bullpen looks great. Houston, just don't mess it up. It's the Houston Astros Invitational. Oh, sorry, the ALCS. So the Astros win the World Series by doing what they normally do.
I put it pretty simply. They get fully healthy.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
They get fully healthy, have everybody back on paper. This team, when fully healthy, will represent the American League in the World Series if they're fully healthy. If I see that playoff rotation and it's all their big guys back, includes Josh Hader.
Yep.
No Josh Hader, no World Series.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty simple there. I think he'll be back for the playoffs. I think that this team will get healthier, and that'll lead the Astros to a World Series win. Is just a healthier roster.
I agree. This microphone's annoying.
And no, it's me going first on this one here. The Seattle Mariners, who are currently in a little bit of a tailspin, but I do think come the end of the day, probably still get that last wild card spot.
Yeah.
That rotation is still pound for pound one of, if not the best in baseball. And I'm looking at it. Get enough offense, and the pitching will carry them to the promised land, is what I wrote down. When you have that rotation that they do, and those arms in the back of the bullpen that they do, just score me 3 or 4 runs a game, and you could probably go and win a World Series that way.
They win the World Series by having a big performance from your big three. Julio Rodriguez, Eugenio Suarez, and
Randy Rosarena. And Josh Naylor.
That's it. Like, you've got to have big performances from those guys. If I feel like that's going to be the key to your offense. If they have good postseasons, their pitching is going to do the rest, as you mentioned that. Their pitching staff is, I still believe, one of the best. You're going to have the big question is who's going to be your number one starter. So, because you could honestly pick a bunch of them. Either way, Seattle Mariners win the World Series. You got to get, I feel like, from getting production from their big three.
I also think winning the division would go a long way with them because they are significantly better at home than they are on the road. Unfortunately, I can't mention they win at home because right now they'd be going on the road to Houston to start the wild card series.
Yeah, and that's concerning.
And the team chasing them down here, the last team in the AL that we will talk about, the Texas Rangers, who are currently, I believe, a game and a half behind these Seattle Mariners. Tim, how did the Rangers win the World Series?
By actually getting run support from Garcia, from Seager, and Simeon. Because once again, I feel like Texas and Seattle are very similar teams. their pitching is great, although they're going to miss Nathan Eovaldi.
Absolutely.
But they're gonna. That's why That's why I'm not going to say pitching is going to bring us to the promised land. It'll be they have to score enough runs, and you need it from those top guys. So if the Texas Rangers would win the World Series by having a lot of production from their top guys.
I still think their rotation's
still great.
Yeah,
it's still good.
I said same as Seattle. The rotation carries them.
Yep.
DeGrom pitches like DeGrom, and if you can get, and I feel like it's very similar with the Tigers than it is the Rangers, except for the Tigers have a better offense. But here's this Rangers team. For me, the way I'm thinking about it, just get in.
Yep.
Just get in, and they can do a ton of damage. We saw them do that in
agree.
2023. They are not a team I would want to play in the playoffs.
I
Now,
agree.
granted, they got a little easier, not having to see Nathan Eovaldi, but it's pretty simple. Make the dance.
And win a DeGrom start. And win a non-DeGrom start, sorry.
Yeah, win all of DeGrom starts and then steal games that are not DeGrom starts.
Yep.
All right, we head to the National League. We head to the defending World Series champion, the LA Dodgers. And for me, I wrote down be the Dodgers.
Yep.
The defending champs are one of the favorites to win the World Series. Just play to your expectations and stay healthy, please. Like, we don't need to see your entire bullpen and your entire rotation or an entire bullpen, an entire rotation on the IL. I'm tired of seeing that with the Dodgers. Even as a Mets fan, it's annoying. You have this ridiculous roster, but half of them get hurt. Stay healthy, and they absolutely can win the World Series again and repeat. That's all I got. Stay healthy and be the Dodgers and play like the Dodgers.
That end, they get. I feel like I'm saying this for a lot of them. The way that the Dodgers are going to win the World Series,
Mookie Betts needs to step up. Mookie
Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman all have massive Octobers, and you get that Tommy Edman to pop up, or your Teoscar Hernandez.
That could be Ha-Seong Kim.
It could be Ha-Seong Kim. It could be
Kim.
Was it Rojas?
Pages.
Sorry, Pages in the outfield.
So underrated.
If you can get a big October from him, keep in mind it's the Dodgers. They're favorites for a reason.
All right. We'll continue on. You get to go first on this one here. San Diego Padres.
Bullpen.
Yeah.
How are they going to win the World Series? Get to the sixth inning with the lead. That's all you got to do. This is the best bullpen in baseball. We mentioned that after the trade deadline. That's my key factor. As long as you're winning going into the sixth, all your starters can go 5 and fly. I don't care. Be winning going into the sixth inning, you're set. That's it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I had written down. Lead after 5 innings. The bullpen leads the way for the Padres. Have one of, if not the best bullpen in baseball, even after the loss of Jason Adam, which that sucks. He was part of their super pen. But, I mean, you look at that back into the bullpen, they can absolutely win games with bullpen games. Like if the Padres went and said for the playoffs, we're going to throw nothing but bullpen games, I still think they can win the World Series that way.
I agree. So
bullpen, that's all it is for me. I'll let you go first on this one here. The San Francisco Giants.
By Rafael Devers being the MVP. That you noticed that the Giants have started to win lately. And one of the big things that you saw so far, Rafael Devers is back to Rafael Devers from Boston. We just saw his big home run the other night in the first inning that turned into a fight. But this Giants team seems to have the right energy going right now. They've won 9 out of their last 10 as we're recording this, 4 in a row. Obviously, they just swept the Rockies, but they're actually They're 2 games over 500 now, and they'll win on the power of friendship. That's all. That's what I got for them.
Play with nothing to lose.
That's the most scariest team to play against.
Ones with nothing to lose. This is a team that's sold at the deadline, but they still got names like Willie Adames, Rafael Devers, Matt Chapman,
all locked up for multiple years.
Yes, they're going to lead them to a playoff spot and a World Series. That's how they do it. Is through that offense. Oh, and then when you're Jacob or when you're Logan Webb starts.
Yep.
Pretty simple there. And maybe we see some playoff innings from Justin Verlander.
Also, the way that the Giants would win the World Series, the Mets would have to choke.
Which can very well happen. This is the Mets we're talking about.
Yep. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah. This one was the easiest one for me to come up with, and it's all of 2 lines I had written down. The Milwaukee Brewers. Simple. They're the best team in baseball. In the playoffs, act like it. Pretty plain and simple. You have been the best team in the regular season, and it's not particularly close. Currently, the Milwaukee Brewers are 86-54. They're 32 games above 500. They're 46-25 at home. They're 40-29 on the road. They're 45-32 against teams above 500. Plus 164 run differential, which is also, you guessed it, the best in baseball. They are the best team in baseball. It's time to act like it come October. Brewers, just play like the best team in baseball, like you have been all year, and you win the World Series.
It's the players that you've never heard of that are going to be playoff icons.
It's the Sal Freliks. It's the Garrett Mitchells.
It's the Isaac Collins.
Yeah.
It's going to be Jacob Mizorowski
as your closer.
It's going to be the players like Chad Patrick that's going to pitch 3 shutout innings in Game 6. It will be Logan Henderson. It will be those random arms that nobody knows. That will Uribe is going to have to step up big because no McGill. It's going to be a closer by committee. So keep that in mind. But this is a Brewers team. You're the best team in baseball by 5 games. Act like it. Like we've seen, and as a Mets fan, I'm still tired of seeing the Brewers shit the bed every single year. I mean, last year was fine, but
that was
it sucks because that's one of those smaller market teams that I'm like, get there, get to the promised land. They just don't.
Yeah, and all I want to think about with this Milwaukee Brewers team is it's the 9th inning. Mizorowski comes in throwing 104.
Yeah,
that's all I want to think about when it comes to coming in, trying to lock down a series, lock down a game. He comes in throwing 104.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll move on. 4 teams remaining. The Chicago Cubbies. Tim, how did the Cubbies win the World Series?
By going back to their first half form. Because they've not been as great as of late. If they can go back to the team that was the best offense in baseball, putting up like 7-8 runs a game, that's going to be very difficult to beat. And they're going to be able to win the World Series by Pete Armstrong and Kyle Tucker. Wake the fuck up.
Kyle Tucker has been better as of late.
He's been better as of late, but you still need more from him. I remember when Pete Armstrong was putting up an argument against Shohei Ohtani.
I picked him to win the MVP at the half.
Gone. Out of there. Goodbye.
He's not even a thought anymore.
Those 2 guys need to wake up and be the leaders on this team. They need to carry the production. Those 2 guys.
Can I give the same answer with the Cubs that I did the Yankees?
Slugging.
Star power and slugging.
Yeah, exactly.
This team can out-homer almost anybody in baseball. If they do that, they win the World Series.
Yeah.
Move on. Cincinnati Reds. They're young. For me, their young rotation has a lot of promise, and they pitch up to their potential. Andrew Abbott and Hunter Green. Unfortunately, Chase Burns is hurt, though, right now. Yeah. But, that rotation, fully healthy and full up to their potential, could be one of the best in baseball. And those 3 pitchers at the top of their rotation carry them through a playoff run. And then they get contributions from guys like Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, I was going to say the best way to do it, Ellie De La Cruz is your MVP. Make him act like it. He's been great all year. He's going to have to be perfect in a playoff run. He's going to have to hit 500 in the playoffs in order for you guys to win. Because unfortunately, their offense is not there. Not enough for them to it. Also, who's their prospect? Sal
Stewart.
Sal Stewart, thank you. Is going to have to be that shock of energy that the Reds need in that lineup. So L.A. De La Cruz and Sal Stewart.
Yeah, and Sal Stewart absolutely can do. I believe he was hitting in AAA this year an OPS above 900.
Oh yeah,
I think he's somebody who can absolutely come in, provide some pop to that lineup, and hit with an 875 OPS or something along those lines.
Yep.
Last one that you get to start off on, Tim. Your favorite team in baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies. How do they win the World Series this year?
Your best pitcher in the playoffs is two different pitchers, and it's not going to be the two you're thinking. Jesus Luzardo and Johan Duran are going to have to be your best pitchers in the playoffs. And why do I say that? Because I have no problem with Christopher Sanchez and no problem with Ranger Suarez. No. But if it gets to a third game and it's Jesus Luzardo, I'm concerned.
I'm not.
That is not a game 3 starter to me. He has not pitched up to that probability. Or God forbid you put Tajon Walker out there. They're not going to. But if you put him out there, not good. They're going to have a strong performance from that third starter, which is Jesus Luzardo. And Johan Duran can't give up anything. That bullpen has to be nails. Because losing Zach Wheeler sucks. You're going to have to overcome it. Also, not to mention, and I think I want to give something similar to when we talk about the Mets, Kyle Schwarber has to be on. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If Kyle Schwarber struggles in the playoffs, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. So a third starter. So the key players for them to win the World Series: Jesus Luzardo, Johan Duran, and Kyle Schwarber.
I would argue that Christopher Sanchez is more important because I need to see Christopher Sanchez be your ace now with Zach Wheeler out. And I wrote down the rotation, even without Walker, even without Wheeler, dominates. Sanchez has become an ace. Ranger is a dog in the playoffs. And I look for Luzardo to contribute come playoff times. And here's the big thing with Jesus Luzardo. You're not asking him to be a 1. You're not asking him to be a 2. Now, I would have much preferred asking him to be the 4 rather than the 3.
Or even a long relieving bullpen arm.
I think that could be Aaron Nola. I know he's not been very good this year. But, Aaron Nola is somebody who has the experience as well that can step up in the postseason. So, for me, it's that rotation continues to step up and dominate.
Yeah.
All right. Last team on this list. Why are the New York Mets going to be your 2025 World Series champions? It's pretty simple. That lineup out hits anybody. They get contributions from Lindor, from Nimmo, from Vientos, from Soto, McNeil, Beatty. They get all the offense, and they outslug everybody. They out-hit everybody, and their pitching does enough to keep them in games. That's all you ask. You're starting – you lead after 5 innings. You lead after 6 innings. They have a really good chance to win because you have guys like Tyler Rogers, like Gregory Soto, like Edwin Diaz in the back of the rotation, back of the bullpen. And I know he's not been good. Ryan Helsley's going to play a huge role in the Mets' postseason success this year, being that setup guy. I don't think you can just toss aside somebody who throws 101 miles an hour like that. So for me, Ryan Helsley is going to play a huge role, but that offense is going to out-hit anybody that they go up against, and that's how they're going to win the World Series.
I've got 3 separate things, more like 5 players, but I'm going to put them into 3 categories. Lindor is going to be it's the same situation as Schwarber that we just mentioned with the Phillies. If Lindor,
I was going to say Soto for that.
If Lindor is off, the Mets aren't going to win. Because we've seen it all year. Even when Soto was hot in June, the Mets sucked in June. Lindor was hot in April and May. Look what the Mets did. Lindor was starting to get hot. Look what the Mets are starting to do as of late. They're starting to look a little bit better. So that's number 1. Number 2, Ryan Helsley is going to pitch playoff innings, and they're going to be effective. He's going to fix whatever the fuck's going on, and he's going to be just fine. He's going to pull a Ryan Stanek from last year.
Yes.
Where he was awful in the regular season after getting traded over, then picked up some very important outs in the playoffs. And the final one, you're going to get an elite run from your young 3. Nolan McLean, Jonah Tong, Brandon Sproat. You've got to get an elite run from those three and David Pearson. Now, get whatever you can from Mania, get whatever you can from Holmes, get whatever you can from Senga.
Holmes has not been bad this year, by the way.
Holmes has been great. I think he's going to end up being the 2 starter. I think Holmes can.
I think it's pretty simple with Holmes. If Halsey doesn't figure it out, he's your setup guy.
I could see that too. But those are going to be the key players for me for the Mets to win the World Series.
All right. And that is all the teams that are currently in the hunt or in a playoff spot. Let us know in the comment section below. How does your team win the World Series this year? I'm sorry, Rockies fans. It's not happening. I wanted to be positive, but I'm sorry, Pittsburgh fans. It ain't happening.
What?
I'm sorry, Orioles fans. It's not happening. I'm not sorry, Braves fans. Haha, it's not happening. But let us know if your team is one of the ones we talked about today, or if it's one that we did not talk about today that you think maybe we disrespected a little bit. I don't know, maybe like an Arizona.
What, Cardinal fans?
Arizona Diamondbacks?
No.
But we
Cardinals and D-backs.
I cut it off at 5 games. That's what I did there.
Yeah.
But let us know in the comment section below, how does your team win the World Series this year? But that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys as always for watching. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you guys are notified each and every time we come out with a video here at Baseball Talk with the Brothers. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, guys.